Winger's 2014 album, Better Days Coming, is something I checked out more on a whim than anything else. I've heard of this band for about 20 years or so, ever since in the 90s they were doing those mixed CD compilations of 80s hard rock bands and their hits, mostly ballads. Now, at that time, I was definitely a big fan of bands like Skid Row, Guns N' Roses, Tesla, Motley Crue, Judas Priest, Scorpions, stuff like that, but I never really got a chance to hear a lot of the other bands that came out in that genre. And those commercials kind of made bands like Poison, Winger, and Warrant seem a bit silly. So I never really gave them the proper chance that I really probably should have. Now at this point in time, I've actually heard bits and pieces of each of the previous albums. Now coming into this album, I had heard bits and pieces of each of their previous albums, never any of them in full. And so I didn't expect them to come in sounding like their first couple of albums. I kind of based off of their last couple what they would probably sound like, and that's kind of what you're going to get here. I think the production is okay, and the musicianship is, I guess, alright, but I'm not really finding a whole lot that really grabs me on this album. There aren't really any catchy vocal hooks or really good guitar riffs or killer guitar solos or really anything vocally or musically that really just reach out and grab me. This experience kind of ended up being that of listening to an album that's just there for the most part. There are exceptions to this, but for the most part, I just don't really find this to be an album that's really that engaging to me. Now, for Winger veterans and Winger fans, this may be different. I certainly don't have anything against the band personally, and they do have songs that I enjoy, but this album just really hasn't grown on me much. Now, I do enjoy the two fast-paced rockers on this album, Rat Race and Midnight Driver of a Love Machine. But unfortunately, there's not a whole lot else on this album that really comes close to being like those two songs. Most of the rest of this album are either ballads or kind of slow-paced songs. Both of these songs I find to be very catchy, nice hard rocking tracks. Midnight Driver being a bit cheesy on the lyrics, but it's fun. I can get behind it. But I kind of wish the album had more songs like this, as I am generally much more of a fan of up-tempo hard rock. And when I listen to bands like this, I really hope for more of that. Now, this album isn't all bad by any means, and most of the reviews that I've seen for it have been pretty positive, so if you're a Winger fan and haven't heard this yet, you're probably going to enjoy this album. It does seem fairly similar to what I've heard from the two previous albums. So if you like them, chances are you're probably going to enjoy this one just fine. And they do have other good moments. Queen Babylon is kind of more of a mid-tempo song, and that one actually has a pretty decent chorus. And I really like the mood, I guess you could say, in the song So Long China, which I guess is about him talking about a girl that just didn't work out with, although he's talking about China, which makes me make it seem like he's singing about the country. But oh well, I suppose a girl could be named China if he wanted her to be. He's the one that wrote the song, not me. That one definitely conveys its mood pretty well. I think the chorus could have been a little better, but overall it definitely seems like a song that could be a single if it wasn't already. I also really like the kind of more slower mid-tempo rocker Storm in Me. That one is actually quite a cool song too. I really dig the chorus in that song as well, and it does kind of have a nice tone to it as well. But overall, I just kind of feel underwhelmed by this album. Like I said, there's just not a whole lot that really grabs my attention, and really I'm more disappointed musically than anything else. I really feel like these songs had some potential, but like I said, there's just no really killer guitar riffs or guitar solos that just make me take notice on this album. And that's really unfortunate because these guys do seem like they do have talent. But I just feel like the rest of this album is too slow and a lot of times too soft for my view. They do have the kind of peppy title track to this album, which, I don't know, something about that song's a bit silly. It is kind of catchy and kind of poppy, and I guess could also be a single. And I kind of get what they were going for, but that one just seemed a bit too silly for my taste. And the rest of this album is just generally pretty slow paced. There are like at least three or four ballads on this album, and it kind of drags on for me. But this may be the style that they've gone in over the last few albums, and if that's what they're gonna do, that's cool. But just for me, it's not really what I'm looking for in a rock album. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 50 out of 100. I think it's okay. There are definitely moments that are decent. I actually do enjoy enough more than half of this album, so it is okay, but it's just not really what I was kind of hoping for.